Welcome to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-hosts, Vern Glenn and Russell Jackman. Hopefully, FP Santangelo Jr. will join us, but if he doesn't, the three of us can handle it, I'm sure. At each commercial break, we're going to ask a trivia question, and today's trivia theme is Jerry West. Let's see how much you know about Jerry West. I know Russ likes the basketball questions, so I thought.
I'm not sure. I mean, a lot of Jerry West's best stuff was when I was like 3 or 4 years old. So
yeah, but you should still know some of these things.
He's one of the many statues outside of Crypto Arena in LA, where the Lakers and Clippers play.
That actually brings up an interesting point. How long do you think that'll stay as crypto? With all this FTX.
The way it's going, geez, not too much longer, I would think.
Yeah, I just got to think that a lot of the stuff is going to be headed downward really fast. And even
by the way, for the viewers, dead giveaway that I'm on vacation. Look at those gray whiskers.
I know. I was going to say that. I see you're sporting a new Don Johnson look.
Well, I just came in from outside. It's a little frigid.
Yeah, but I mean the
Oh yeah. It'll be gone by Thursday when I'm at the 49ers.
Ah, okay. Yeah, do they don't have a like a dress code thing for you at work, do they? I mean, obviously you have to suit and tie.
No, but I can't go on the air and go 3 to 2, 5 to 4 with this.
Yeah. Well, again, the audience on the radio can't see it, but if you YouTube this, you'll be able to see how handsome Vern looks in his ruggedness. You look like you're a lumberjack ready to start felling some trees. All right, this segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, still providing mortgage investments yielding anywhere from 7 to 9%, secured by real estate. Doesn't get any more conservative than them. You got to check them out at pacificprivatemoney.com. Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. Well, hold on, Sports Econ 101. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown, Vern Glenn, and Russell Jackman here. All right, guys, we got a bunch of different topics to cover. Where do you want to start? I've got a few things on my list. Go ahead.
For me, it's the NFL playoffs for me. I mean, we are right in the thick of it, with a lot of teams that are contending, teams that I didn't think we'd be talking about at this point, aka Detroit Lions, among the other teams. But hey, they're hanging in there. And then look at the division leaders, one of which right here in our backyard, the San Francisco 49ers, winners of the NFC West.
Awesome. I like that.
That was beautiful. What about the biggest comeback in the history of the NFL?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Any of you guys turn it off? I've learned my lesson from the Bills Oilers game, which is one that I also didn't turn off.
I'll admit, when I saw 33-0, I mean, I think I went out and picked up a couple of things or whatever, and then I checked the phone again. Oh, a little comeback. And then by the time I got home, then it was it was really something. But man, how sick does that team have to be? Losing a lead like that.
How sick does Matt Ryan have to be?
I was going to say, it was the Matt Ryan curse. If you remember, he lost the Super Bowl having a big lead.
28-3 lost the Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator in that game.
Yeah, and he was up 28-3, and then just couldn't find. Matt Ryan just has a lot of trouble getting stuff going in the second half, and also, I had a number of Indianapolis Colts players on my fantasy team, and they really underperformed for me. I'm not going to invest so heavily in the Colts. Whatever fantasy team I have next year, I won't be investing a lot in the Colts.
And not only do we have that game, that outcome, how about the outcome of the Raiders-Patriots game?
That's what I was going to ask.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, was that Belichick calling something like that? That's kind of...
No, this guy did it on his own. He throwing it with his offhand, throwing it back to the quarterback, and then the Raiders pick it off and then run in for a walk-off touchdown like that to avoid overtime. It was that was right up there with the Holy Roller game, the Sea of Hands game, the Heidi game. I mean, the Raiders have just been involved in some of the wackiest Comeback
the
wins.
Yeah.
It didn't really mean anything. I mean, the Raiders aren't going anywhere, and New England really isn't going anywhere. So it's not like it was for a playoff spot or so. I mean, might have been for the wild card possibly for New England, but does England really think New England is going to compete for anything this year?
Well, mathematically, as they say in Dumb and Dumber, you're saying there's still a chance for the Raiders. They're still kind of mathematically in the hunt.
I was going to say the most annoying sound in the world, which is probably Bill Belichick in the locker room yelling at his team for making such a boneheaded play.
Yeah, all they got to do is fall down, and then there's overtime, and then they had momentum. Probably would have won the game.
It's
but
one thing.
No.
If they were down, like remember the Tennessee Titans and the Music City.
Music City Miracle.
Yeah, exactly. That's different. But when you're tied, just go into overtime and take your best chances then.
Footnote on Music City Miracle: a guy I work with at KPIX CBS local in the Bay Area, Lorenzo Neal. He's my co-host when we do these fifth quarter post-game shows on Sunday afternoon. Lorenzo Neal was the fullback on that play. The play started with the quarterback. He handed off to Lowe, and then Lowe pitched back, and then you saw the rest. So he was involved in that play.
Wait, wasn't that one? I thought it was a kickoff.
No. This was the handoff to Lowe. It pitched it back, and then it was then it was no. Wait, you're right. It was the kickoff. Lowe got it.
Okay.
Lowe got it, and then flipped it back, and then you saw the rest. You're right. That was special.
I thought that's what it was. Yeah. Oh boy. Let's see here. Moving on. Hey, Damian Lillard just passed Clyde Drexler to become the Trailblazers' all-time leading scorer.
Well, you put up as many shots as he does, it's bound to happen, right?
Yeah. Clyde the Glide.
That's right.
It was easier for him this season because he doesn't have McCollum there to split the offense with. So he is really the focus.
Yeah, McCollum's down in the Big Easy playing for the Pellies. And Damian Lillard, he could be one of the greatest players never to win it all.
Yeah.
Well, he still has a ways to go in his career, so we're not quite, putting the
But can he do it if he stays with the same team? I don't think so.
How old is he now?
I do not know off the top of my head.
He's been playing a long time, isn't he?
I'm going to guess close to 30, if not 30.
I thought, gosh, it seemed
really a guess without looking it up. No hands.
Yeah, no, I know. It just seems like he's been playing for like 15 years or something. But and he had some injuries. I remember a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he grew up around West Oakland, and when he was coming out, he went for a tryout with the Warriors and walked from his home to the Warriors headquarters at the time in Oakland.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they didn't take him. He's you think he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer, don't you think?
I would think so. He's on that track.
Yeah.
He's one of the great scorers of this time, but I kind of agree that he needs to go at least advance somewhere into the playoffs or make it to a finals to be able to maybe cement his spot in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but
you got to have help with that, and right now he doesn't have a whole lot of help.
I mean, that's not fair.
Because Junior is not enough.
Yeah, but the thing that's not fair though is it's not a one-man sport; it's a team sport. So, you get these superstars. I mean, we'll look at like Nolan Ryan only won one World Series in all those years, and that was with the Mets when he hardly pitched, right?
Yeah.
But he if he didn't win that World Series, he still would have been a Hall of Famer.
How about Dan Marino? Went to the Super Bowl his rookie year and never made it back.
That's right. He lost to the 49ers.
That's right.
Yeah, but he's in the Hall of Fame, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Let's see here. Got one more thing before we go to break. Miami Heat placed literally every player on injury report after receiving an NBA fine ahead of the Mexico City game. Can you imagine putting all your players on injury report?
Nothing to see here.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Bring up your minor league team. Bring up your G League team.
Yeah. Bring up your G Leaguers and parade them out. Not what the league had in mind as they spread their brand south of the border.
So what do you do? I mean, well, because that even happens here in the United States when you have a team that, like, I remember the Spurs did that, where they just pretty much put all the second stringers in at the last minute. And can you imagine spending a lot of money to go to the game to see the stars and suddenly none of them are playing?
Yeah, but if they're sick, they're sick.
No,
Or
he
sick.
just but he didn't. But I don't think Popovich did that. He just wanted to keep them reserved for the
Oh,
playoffs.
load. You mean load management?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well-
I think the fans, hey, come on, give me a refund. I paid to see the big boys play. Of course, they're all stars. Okay, we're going to go to our first commercial break. The theme today is Jerry West.
Okay.
All right, you ready? We'll start off with an easy one. The purple and gold of the Lakers saw Jerry West wear which number throughout his career? What number did Jerry West wear throughout his career? So unlike LeBron James changed and Michael Jordan who changed, Jerry West kept the same number.
Jerry West remained the same. Okay.
Yep. All right. Email Edward at sportsecon101.com the answer to that question. And we will be right back. So don't touch that dial. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown, Vern Glenn, and Russell Jackman here. So FP sent me a text that he's on an airplane right now, so he can't chime in. All right, here's our first Jerry West question. So I'm just going to sum it up. What number did he wear throughout his career?
You ready?
Yep.
44.
44. Very good. Okay, so now off air, Vern, you were mentioning about Jerry West when he played in West Virginia.
Yeah, he played for West Virginia, obviously co-captain of the team. And the question is, who was the other co-captain? And the clue is that co-captain has an extremely famous Olympic gold medalist for a daughter.
For a daughter.
What sport did she play?
Well, I might give it away if I give the sport, but why not? I mean, it's a show. The sport is gymnastics.
Okay, so you have to think back then. Come on, not Olga Corbett. Who was the one who? Kathy Rigby? Kathy Rigby? No. Come on, who? That okay? It was an American. So I'm trying to think of not Mary Lou Retton because that would have been before that.
Ding, 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 ding. That is the correct answer.
Really?
Bill Retton. This is a college now. Bill Retton was the other co-captain besides Jerry West on that West Virginia team in college.
Really? Okay. It's funny. I was thinking Mary Lou Retton. That's just that's too soon. There would have been.
Nope.
I would have thought there would have been too many years in between. But okay, that's kind of a fun one.
Mary Lou Retton. And you know who told me? Mary Lou Retton during an interview with her.
Wow.
Oh
Yeah.
Oh yeah. By the way, my dad was co-captain with that.
That's
Jerry
it.
West.
She threw it out. She goes, yeah, that's what when you have a chance, use that trivia question.
That's a good one.
Bill Retton, my dad. Yep.
Now, did he go on to play pro ball?
I don't know if he did. I mean, it certainly wasn't distinctive.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, but you're right. Jerry West played in the late 50s in college, and then in 1960 was a member of the U.S. Olympic team.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. There's talk about the Warriors trading Wiseman or Kuminga for possibly Jay Crowder, possibly Kevin Durant. What do you think?
I bet you that phone has rung with all kinds of possible trades, especially since the offseason began, because there was talk in the offseason of bringing KD in at the time, and it just never happened. And then they went with the youth movement, trying to develop these young players, and it hasn't worked out, I would say, particularly on the road, because the bench has failed them in these games. And
Kuminga has looked good.
I mean, I like him. What's the big deal? I mean, I think he's very athletic. What is his defense isn't that good? I mean, what's
No, I think it's more of a matter of he's the one guy that has value. Wiseman has absolutely no value in a trade. I mean,
right.
you would be you can't get a good player back for Wiseman because he has not accomplished anything so far in the NBA, which is really disappointing. But you look at that entire, I was reading an article that was saying about the 2020 draft, which has probably been the worst draft in NBA history. A lot of people are saying that so
Well,
far has been the most disappointing. You see all the players that have come out in that draft, especially because of COVID, and we weren't able to have an NCAA tournament, and a lot of these players were drafted kind of blind, have not turned into very much other than Tyrese Halliburton. He's about the best player in that entire draft. He was picked number 11 overall. So,
So
Anthony
basically,
Edwards,
the rest of them have been busts, in the court of
Anthony
public
Edwards,
opinion.
Anthony Edwards has been okay, but like Obi Toppin, what has he really accomplished? Wiseman hasn't done much. LaMelo Ball has been hurt a lot.
Wiseman too.
Yeah, there really hasn't been a real breakout star other than Halliburton, and the Kings already traded him so he obviously was not someone that the Kings couldn't live without. He couldn't really play effectively with with De'Aaron Fox. I'm showing my age now. Rick Fox.
You know your age even more if you said Red Fox.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much.
Was Halliburton traded to Indiana?
Yeah, for
the Indiana came to chase and they just lit it up against the Warriors. I believe Halliburton had a career game.
No, he didn't. It was he was that was load management. It was the rookie that they have. Not Naismith. Starts with the N. He had 31 points, but
Nimhard.
Nimhard, thank you.
Nimhard, yeah, okay. Nimhard out of Gonzaga, right?
Yeah, he lit the Warriors up, and the Warriors play on the road today against the Knicks, and then they play Brooklyn. So it's interesting if Durant indeed is headed back to the Warriors, what kind of a reaction he's going to have seeing them in 2 days. What I don't think the Warriors want Durant back. I think that he isn't gonna, he's on his way down. The Warriors, I think, want to find where the future is for this team, and the future is with Kuminga. I don't know if it's with Wiseman, but I do think the future is with Kuminga. The other big disappointment has been Moody. Moody has not turned into, he looked like he had a lot of potential last year. This year he's really slid downwards, and he's a deep bench player, if at all. They're playing DiVincenzo more than they're playing Moody, and I did not think that would be the case right now.
Here's a question to throw out. Having said that, and I agree with every point that you've made, can that Warriors team get 50 to 52 wins? Because I believe that's what it's going to take to make the playoffs, I think.
No, they're not. They just don't have the road chops that they need. Can they get 48? Would you take 48?
I'd
take 48, but that would maybe make,
because they already have what they have 16 wins. So you need 32 more wins?
And we're getting close to halfway through the season now.
Yeah, because you're just trying to do what you can at this point. Do what you can to get into the tournament. Once you get into the tournament, then it's a crapshoot.
Last year the Warriors had such a tremendous bench, and this year the Warriors bench is really underperformed in major ways. I mean, they really don't have that bench star that is getting the job done the way Gary Payton was, the way Otto Porter was, the way Belika was doing it. They had a lot of guys that were stepping up and playing over their heads and performing on a level they don't normally perform. And now this year, everybody's underperforming, and they don't have anyone that's stepping up. And you get with Curry hurt, Poole's numbers are way down. Clay,
except for last night, the eve of this taping. Yeah, he went for 43 last night.
Right, but it took a lot, and maybe that's because Curry wasn't in there.
But most definitely, yeah.
But Clay isn't what he was. We're not seeing, and Wiggins has been hurt. So it's been tough though, and the things that went so right for them last year by having, the right guys on the bench step up, now they're not getting that same kind of performance
Do
from
you think that we could be talking about this same roster in 2 months? Or do you think Bob Myers still might pull the trigger on something?
I don't think they have a lot to trade. I don't think they have a lot of value, and the league's kind of wary about it. It's sort of like what happened with the Lakers once they picked up Davis and LeBron James. Teams don't want to make the Lakers better. They don't want to make the Warriors any better. They don't really see, they don't want to make a big deal or trade somebody like the way Wiggins was traded for D'Angelo Russell. I mean, you look back on that trade and how the Warriors absolutely swindled Minnesota for that pick, for that trade. Nobody's making those same kind of offers now. They're all, I think, very wary about trading a future star for just the Warriors, cast-offs.
Well, here's the difference between us old guys, you, me, barking on the internet, and the Warriors in the front office and Bob Myers. They have first of all, they're not going to let us peek behind the curtain to see what's really going on. And there are so many like pending phone calls and texts and whatnot. I mean, we will only find out when they're ready for us to find out. So we'll see. But I've seen some crazy stuff happen in this business.
I'd be surprised if the Warriors were able to make a big trade this year. That's me.
All right. Hey, guys, you ready for our second commercial break?
Yes, I am.
And thanks for taking over a lot because I lost my voice, kind of being sick for a little bit here. Okay.
Well, it's always in the last place you left it.
That's true. Okay. The Jerry West is what we're talking about here. The Lakers have experienced some great basketball players in their franchise history, with greats in the names of George Mikan, right? He's the first big man. Elgin Baylor. Yep. Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, just to name a few. When Jerry West retired, where did he rank all time in points made as a Laker? All right. That's our trivia question. All right. Stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. Don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here along with Vern Glenn and Russell Jackman. Our second trivia question, I'm going to shorten it basically. When Jerry West retired, where did he rank all time in points made as a Laker?
I'm going to say number one.
Yeah, I'll say first.
Actually, that is correct. At the time he retired in 1974. Also at that time, where was he ranked all time? At the time
scoring list.
Yeah, at the time that he retired. So he was number one as a Laker.
Yep.
Remember, see, Wilt played for the Philadelphia Warriors before. That's why as a Laker, Jerry West was number one. So just kind of curious to see if you guys know in 1974 when he retired, if they stopped the clock right there, where was he ranked all time in
third?
What?
Fifth.
Wait, I heard third.
I'm going to say fifth.
No, third. Very
third
good.
Is correct.
Okay, who were the other two? Who were the two who scored more?
Wilt, obviously.
Yeah.
Wilt.
I would say at that point might have been Mikan.
No. Oscar Robertson.
Oscar Robertson, the Big O.
The Big O. That's pretty good. I'm impressed. Number one, number three, got that pretty good. All right. The last thing I had on my list here was okay, so the Bucks, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, lost to the Bengals. They had that crazy fake punt that got messed up, right? And so I was just looking on some like sports interviews, and they said the Bucks Bernard, right? He admitted that he had messed up with the communication with the bad fake punt. Now, Mike, this question is really more for you, Vern, because you're more in the media. Why, if you look at the interview, Bernard's being extremely respectful, and he just basically, the question comes up, hey, what happened? Blah, blah, blah. He goes, I messed up, miscommunication. and they just kept hounding him. And if you just and he's still very respectful. He just said, I own it. I messed up. How does that?
I think, well, obviously the questions came from scribes, because a TV guy wouldn't just go on and on and on like me.
No. Yeah.
But I think what the scribes want to know is, what was the thought process when the play occurred? What were you thinking was the play for you to mess up like that at a crucial time? They just want to know what was in this guy's head. Now the guy just wanted to gloss it over and go, "Hey man, I messed up. Hey, put it on me. I messed up." But still, the writers who have to fill space on their blog or paper or whatever. I mean, they wanted more of an explanation as to how this unfolded, because that's their job to find out.
Yeah.
So
that's tough though, because the guy, I mean, he's not making any excuses. He basically just like brain fart type of thing. He goes, what is he gonna say? I don't know what I was thinking. I messed up.
Well, this is moments after the game was over.
Yeah.
He showers, he gets dressed, he comes to the podium, he answers he answers all these questions, and that's really the only time that they have to get those answers. Now, other guys will say, "Well, I really don't know, man. I really messed up. I'm gonna have to look at the film to find out, just kind of how it unfolded." But I mean, but while everything happened is still fresh in everybody's mind, that's when the beat writer, wants to know, just take us back there. The ball is snapped. What happened? I mean, what was your state of mind? What was supposed to happen? And why were you the only one that did not get the play? So
if you I see the difference between TV and writing. Put yourself in that position where you're interviewing him on TV. Mm-hmm. What would your next move be if he just says, "Hey, I messed up. I just
if it was me and I had the guy, I would have said, "Hey, I hate to bring it up, but we got to go back to that play. I mean, that flipped the game."
Yeah.
In your mind, what happened? And when he goes, "Well, man, I just messed up.
Yeah.
I just messed up," and then I would follow with, "Well, where in the communication was there a breakdown where there was a disconnect?" And then just see what he says after that. He goes, "Man, I don't know, man. I just messed up. I mean, the ball, it was fake punt. I just wasn't on the same page."
Yeah.
And from that, it might be, I might, because we don't have a whole lot of time.
Yeah.
We kind of have to tell the story, and move on, because there's other things to get to. But if I'm just getting rid of them, I'll just say, "Well, I guess you just have to look at the film and kind of see the breakdown on the all 22 clip to really kind of figure out." But probably of everybody in the locker room, nobody feels worse than you, huh?
Sure. Yeah.
And then he'll say whatever he said.
Yeah.
And I'll go, "Hey man, thank you for your time." And then then you let him go. Because usually an interview like that is live. It's right out of the locker room, and you're, or if it's taped, you do it, and then they immediately turn it around and throw it on the post-game show or whatever, whether show you're connected with.
Have you ever had a situation where you were responded to in a disrespectful way? Because again, a question like that is you got to ask it, but he's not very happy about that sort of thing. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to remember somebody just reacted negatively. No, it hasn't really happened yet where somebody just kind of exploded. Not to me. I mean, I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
But what really wasn't in football. This was in baseball. This was Todd Stoudemire's kid. He threw a pitch, and then he followed it up with another pitch, and the guy went deep, and the other team won the game. And then he was in the locker room and was asked about it, and he had addressed it, okay. And then that group left his locker, and he was already upset, And then another group of people came in and asked the same question. And he's like, man, I just talked about this. And then he got,
just say, ask those guys.
He just went off. Yeah.
Wow.
But in that situation where the Buccaneers guy, he says, hey, look, I messed up. That was at the podium. It was, yeah, he comes in, he fields questions. There's a team rep right there to move it along. And then after a certain amount of time, teammate says, all right, thanks. And then he leaves.
Wow.
I think the bigger story to me is what's going to happen with Tom Brady after this year. You know, that's a bigger issue with the Bucs. The way the 49ers showed up, Brady and Brock Purdy, you know, absolutely embarrassed him, you know, to the world. And he got, for Tom Brady to get beat by Mr. Irrelevant, you know, 35-7. I think that's a bigger issue.
2 days before that game, I went to San Mateo and went over to the house he grew up in, went over to the Brady house, and I sat in and talked to Tom Brady Sr. And he told me that he told me that he didn't think that Tom himself knew what he was going to do after the season. But he did say this, and I'm laughing about it now. He said, boy, this game with Brock Purdy, boy, this is going to be a game that he'll never forget, going up against Tommy. He was right about that. It just didn't come out the way that Tom Brady Sr. was anticipating.
Yeah, because they made a comparison on TV where he was, what, like 2 years old when
he was 3 months old when Tom Brady was drafted by the Patriots. 3 months old. And at the time, I mean, Tom Brady had more career starts than Brady had yards in his career. I mean, than Purdy had yards in his career. Purdy had like 325 yards total.
Yeah.
Brady had like, you know, almost 330 career starts, something like that.
Yeah. And we haven't brought up the World Cup at all.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. One last thought. Yeah. Did you see the long line of 49er players waiting to either get a picture with or get an autograph from Tom Brady after the game?
No.
That was amazing to me. I mean, they lopsided win, okay, 35-7. And then from Dre Greenlaw, who picked him off in the game, to Fred Warner, to Christian McCaffrey, to all these 49ers, even Brock Purdy, all lined up to get a picture with him or get his autograph.
That's pretty cool. Oh, that's a lot of respect. I appreciate that.
Juwan Jennings handed him a Sharpie and said, hey, man, could you sign this? And he signed his uniform, his jersey.
That's great. Let's talk. We have a couple of minutes before we have to cut to our break. The World Cup, Lionel Messi finally win.
Lionel Messi, he got it done. It was just, I mean, Argentina was clearly the better team, at least from the jump. But I'll give France credit for scrambling to get back in it. But what drama? I mean, for something like that decided on penalty kicks, and I know how it works today. You know, these kids, you know, if it happened before the year 2000, it just didn't happen. But I mean, but for them to come out and say, "Oh, that was the greatest World Cup game ever played," well, how do they really know?
Yeah.
And for as great as Messi is, here's my point. I thought it was huge disrespect to Pele, who was regarded as the greatest soccer player ever, for to say, "Hey, Messi's just the greatest ever," because that's all anybody remembers. He's the man of the moment. Hey, great, but Pele, hello.
That's a good point. It's almost like there was, I think it was the Frank Gifford football game where they said, "Oh, this is the greatest football game that's ever been and will ever be," type of thing. And it's like,
oh, you talking about the Colts Giants? It was the first sudden death game. It was for the NFL championship. Yeah. It was 1958. And
it was exciting. I gotta say, Frank Gifford got knocked out, I think, didn't he?
I'm not sure if he was knocked out in that game, but the New York Giants were just the darlings of the league. They were the Tiffany franchise. They were New York, for criminy sakes. And then you got the scrappy Baltimore Colts. And then there's Alan Amici diving in on the handoff from Unitas, and then and then that was it.
Remember that? Fly the friendly skies of Unitas. Remember that? That was a
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
back in the early 70s.
For
Okay.
years, he had a restaurant in Baltimore called the Golden Arm.
Well, that's great. I like that. Actually, he just died a couple of years ago, I think.
I think he's
Earlier this-
he's been throwing passes up in the heavens above for a little while
For a
now.
little while now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here's our third trivia question on Jerry West. Jerry West was inducted in the Basketball Hall of Fame in 1980. During the ceremony, who did Jerry West share the podium with? Who was also the first player in history? Well, this is an easy one. The first player in history to average a triple-double in a season.
So somebody that went in the 1980 class with him?
Correct.
Okay.
Also, the first player in history to average a triple-double in a season. And I'll tell you, it was not Russell Westbrook.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a hint.
He
All
was
right.
not born in 80.
Excuse me. All right, stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back with some closing comments. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn and Russell Jackman. And hopefully next week we'll have FP back. Okay, Jerry West was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 1980. During the ceremony, who did Jerry share the podium with?
I'm going to say
Mike.
Oscar Robertson.
Oscar
Yeah, I was
Robertson,
going to ask that. I
yeah.
was going to ask that too.
Now,
Yep.
now did you know because of that or because of what I asked before about averaging the triple-double?
A triple
Well,
double.
when you said triple double for his career, yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that was kind of the reasoning one. Okay. Are you guys, you have any last thoughts before we go to our thoughts of the day?
Well,
Come on,
yeah.
Birdie, man.
Well, no, I'm going to go with the Giants and their signing of Correa. You know, that was a huge deal, especially because when we last talked, you know, Judge was the swing and the miss for the Giants. And I think they didn't get exactly who they were looking for, but I think he's going to be an important addition to their and it does mean kind of the end of Brandon Crawford as a shortstop for the Giants. So they'll have to either move him to third or I'm not sure what they'll what Crawford is going to do. It's just when you have a guy that's been a legendary Gold Glove shortstop, it's not so easy to just say go play first base or play third base. So we'll see what
Unless you're Cal Ripken. Okay, hey guys, we got to cut it.
He's in the final year of his contract. The plan is to move him to third. And did the Giants overpay? Yeah. My question, leaving as we say goodbye, did Judge play the Giants?
Ooh, good question. Okay, you ready? Here's
play the Yankees this year. So that would be something.
Okay, here's our thoughts for the day. Once you've seen one shopping center, you've seen them all.
Ball.
There you go.
that's
Okay.
awful.
And never lie to an X-ray technician. They can see
He
right
sees
through
right
you.
through you.
There you go.
Right through
You
you.
know it.
Hey,
Come on.
Russ,
You had 2 weeks. You
Russ.
had 2 weeks to come up with stuff. That's the best you can do in 2 weeks.
No, I don't worry. I'll come up with better next time. Okay.
Russ was in his bag today.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did
no,
great.
that was-
Okay. All right, guys.
Easy.
Tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We'll be discussing sport topics from a business perspective and asking more sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
Adios.
Hold on.